I'm about to burst out laughing, but hello, Mentorship Monday. Welcome, everybody. It's so good to see you on another beautiful Monday. I'm here as Michelle, and
And
this is
I, as
Maren.
Maren.
Just in case we forgot for a moment who we were, but after the last couple weeks,
You
I
never
may
know.
have forgotten. I may have forgotten because I have seen myself in so many different versions that multi-dimensional beings that we are. There is so much more to us than our physical names. And that's
Mhm.
kind of what we were talking about on our last episode before we took our break for Easter. We were talking about our Atlantean
Yes, our
relationship.
past life and our past life connection. I am
Hmm.
so excited I did a little meditation and I saw a few little images and like how we were connected. So
Okay, share. I'll let you go.
I
You
don't
go.
like, do I spill it
Yeah.
or do you spill it? Who goes first? I don't know.
Well,
Rock,
you,
paper.
you spill it. I got lots to spill. You spill.
Okay.
I
Okay.
got the tea. I got the tea. Boom,
Okay.
boom.
Um, okay, so it started out, it was a flash, and I was bending down at a river, and there was tall grass around me, and I could see my shoes, and
Mm-hmm.
it was a female, and they were
Mm-hmm.
sandals, and there was crystals in the sandals,
Mm-hmm.
and I was wearing a white dress and I had a white veil on, but I was not getting married. It was just like
Mm-hmm.
part of my outfit was a white veil. And I remember thinking my shoes were awfully fancy for like whatever time period this was. I didn't know that we were going straight to Atlantis. I thought we were, I don't know, just a past life. So I had no idea where I was in my past life. And and then I could see a little chubby little leg like out of
Mm-hmm.
the peripheral of my
Hopefully it
vision.
wasn't hopefully it wasn't my chubby little leg.
No, no, yeah, so I was holding a baby boy who was like
Mm-hmm.
maybe like a year and a half or something. Like he was like old enough that his legs seemed longer and chubby. Um, and and then I went to the temple and I was kind of like in the back, like maybe there were like 100 people in the temple, and there was the like priestess, elder, I don't know who, teacher, I don't know like what you would call that person, but I felt like that person was you. And you were holding a golden cup. And and I felt like so calm. I could tell like I really loved like going. Like I felt very at peace and like, oh, I'm in my place. Like I felt good. And
Mm-hmm.
then there was a flash of like you and me off to the side. Like we weren't there. We were like working together and you were
Mm-hmm.
teaching me. But then also you like I asked like why are you like why are we together, or like what's the point of this meeting? And I heard
Mm-hmm.
like encouragement or something like that. I can't remember the exact words, but like you were teaching me, encouraging me, showing me the way. And then I also gave you the baby boy, and I should maybe toddler. And I like laid him in front of us, and I feel like I was like, there's something very special about him. And I kept hearing the name Andal, like Andal, I don't know, which I thought was
Hmm.
really interesting. Like I kept hearing his name. And uh I just remember thinking like he's really special. And so I presented him to you. Like I felt like he had whatever gifts we had.
Mm-hmm.
And then you kept encouraging me, and it's really interesting because I never saw the pyramids, but I did get like a flash of pyramids, but they were
Mm-hmm.
upside down, which was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um and then um and then that's it. That's all I got.
That's very interesting. Okay, so Let's see if we can coordinate some of this, because now mine came through channeling. So I didn't meditate. And part of why I want to say this too is because there's many of us that aren't going to get things in meditation. And it's not that it can't happen that way and that it doesn't happen that way, but a lot of times it's being centered. It's sitting centered. It's coming from sketching, drawing. That is my meditation. That is what I do a majority of the time. So mine came from doing some drawing and channeling. And so it does coincide with what you said. The visuals that I was getting was very much like the structures were very clear looking. The structures that I saw were, they didn't all look solid. That's how I saw them. Even a temple, it was not, how would I describe it? What I saw, it looked like light was moving between cracks of limestone or whatever stone this was. So it looked like it was a combination of both physical material and non-physical. I did get that you and I, in a particular lifetime, now you and I have worked in different lifetimes, and from what I have channeled is that the Atlantis was here much longer than what we may have believed. Much longer. And we talked a bit about this in the class last night as well. And that it was brought into as three sections, as the rising, as the midpoint or the heightened point, and then as the falling. And the falling did a lot of transference to ancient Egypt. So before the Egypt that we would have recorded in, say, traditional history. And you and I had lifetimes in each subsection. And these lifetimes were much longer than how we see life right now. So lifespans more like 200. In the high points are early days up to 600 years.
Wow.
And so it's hard to fathom and imagine, because we look at somebody who has lived 105 years and it's an absolute miracle into the 90s. But we're also changing our structure. And I always say, if you're listening to this content, if you even have this as a channel, because we are the architecture, so that we're only going to resonate and bring in what we are matched to, no matter where your belief system is right now, because that's a whole other subject. But if you're bringing it in, that means that you have something going on within your system that is attracting this information. So, the lifetime that matches a lot of what you're saying, what I was able to pick up on is teaching, and they called you apprentice. Like, I was sharing what I was doing to you because you were doing the same thing, and it had to do with activating and healing, moving energy. That's the most basic way to say it. And it's interesting that you said about the crystal on the sandals, because crystals were something that they were understood as part of the technology, because the crystals could be encoded with, see, the technology is not the crystals. The technology is holding what's running through us. And so at that time, we had more of a crystalline based structure. So more crystalline, less carbon. And there was carbon because we did have physicality. There were beings like Thoth that there was a physical presence, not in all lives, because he did have a very long spanning life, but he also came through in other bodies as well. But his structure was more crystallized than many of us. And what I was told was this had to do with moving in dimensional spaces. And not everyone in Atlantis, not everyone through that period was doing that. So part of the reason why many of us at that time were moving in dimensions and had carbon within our structure and more crystalline was so that we could go among more physicality, other human beings. So it wasn't a whole society in one area that were all crystalline beings and flying around and all those things. That's not how I perceived it and how it came through to me. It was different in the sense that there was more of an understanding of the technology that is built within us. The frequency lines were clearer. There were some that weren't as, but people would have injuries and go to healers. People would have children like you and bring them to help open them up, to help stabilize them. There was a lot of work with the frequencies of the water, of nature. There was work within the grids on Earth because there was also an understanding of there being changes of platforms as the Earth went through different spaces. So it's very fascinating what you brought through because it really backs up what I picked up on. And
Yeah.
the crystals on your feet were for grounding. They're
Oh,
for
that makes
integration
sense.
and grounding. Yeah.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really
So,
cool. So
and
who do you think the little boy is? Do you think he's connected? Because he was such a main focus too. Do you think that he's connected?
he is one of your children.
Oh, I thought he was
Did you
your child. I thought he was Marcus because I
That's
didn't.
interesting. That is
Have-
interesting because
Yeah.
funny you'd say that because I did when you said the name. I did think Marcus. I did think Marcus. And there's a good possibility because not all of our incarnations are complete embodiments, or they're not. So there could be a braid of similarity, which is why you presented the child to me. So there could be something there that signifies letting us know that there is soul braid within the children
Mm,
that we don't have conscious awareness to, because our energies and our soul goes far beyond what our conscious comprehension is. So there's a lot of things that we see, and of course when we get this information we're always trying to speed up to understand it, to speed
hmm.
up to bring it in and make sense of it. But what feels right to me as you say that is that it's really not your son, it's really not my son, but there is a braid within that child. And that braid is part of a structure that was able to light up and connect us in this lifetime because we're doing something very parallel and similar, which is what was encoded. And so our souls are encoded, our soul blueprints are encoded through higher dimensional frequency to help us bring that energy not as the old energy, but to ground that frequency here on the earth at the time of shifting. And so you want to call it the Great Awakening, you want to call it Ascension, the earth, the shift. It doesn't matter in what area of thinking or beliefs you're in. Pretty much everybody that you speak to has an awareness that something is happening, that something is changing. And so for many of us that are connected to and are having experiences that are not, haven't been mainstream for quite a while, we're starting to see that reflected in other areas of the world that are more mainstream, because it's happening. There's a shift that's happening, and what it is it's codes within us. It's the what was deemed as junk DNA that's activating, because it's not certain people, it's not special people, it's not, only for somebody. It's in, as Dolores Cannon said, in waves. And so there's a resonance. So the energy speaks without words. That's why it messes up the mental faculty, and why people think linear and say, oh, this is woo woo, this is weird, this is crazy. Your souls don't think that.
Mm-hmm.
The energy knows what it's doing. Everything knows how to work. And we talked about this in our class last night. We really don't have to do as much as we think we do,
Yeah.
because the energy is highly intelligent,
Yeah.
and we're in this now. We are in the time in the world that way back we knew would come. And so where a lot of these codes within us are rising. So speaking of that, after our class that we had yesterday, which ended up being a complete different whole operation than I ever imagined it would be in the first place. So
But it
every
all
single
worked out
person, it
perfectly.
certainly did. It was wonderful. Um, it it has really taught me how much I don't need to push or organize or take care of. I've really learned that in a very expansive way in the last couple weeks. Um, but it was great. It was very tactile and feeling. There was a lot going on within our bodies. And so tell me, and for those that are watching that were in the class last night or that will participate later on, and also who may receive some activations and some energy as we're talking about it today, how did you feel? How'd you feel after what happened last night? What can you share?
Okay, so before I was very excited. I feel like I felt my solar plexus open. I know you asked that question, and then I was like, I don't know. I feel like I felt my solar plexus open as we began to prepare for the day. And I thought it was very interesting that you guys both wore green. Like, so was a
And
very
we
hard
are today again.
day.
Different green.
Oh
That's
my gosh,
hilarious.
that is. Okay, see, it's all heart based.
Yeah, it is.
Um,
Heart resonance.
yes. But no, I really felt supported. I felt like Thoth was really there. I felt so much like I don't know, electricity, I guess it would be like I don't want to say static because I feel like that has like negative connotations, but like this
Movement. There was movement.
yeah. Um I definitely felt things here and there and everywhere. I got a headache during it. That was one of the things that I felt like I
Yeah.
was really feeling was a headache.
Yeah.
A light one, a light one. It
Yeah.
was not,
Yeah. I did as well. Yeah.
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 Um, but then after the guided meditation to this was really cool too. So for the guided meditation, we did an opening one and then we did one to get activated. And so the one to get activated, you would say something, but I would have already seen it. So
Oh,
like
wow.
you said you guys are going to join hands, and we had already joined hands. And then you said we're going down. Oh, you said like something like you're not where you normally are, or something like that. And then like I started going down with him because I was like, oh, if I'm not here, where am I going? I'm going down. And then um and then like three sentences later you were like, and now you're gonna go down. I'm like, oh my God, I already went down. Like that's crazy. And then you talked about the grid, and it was weird because when I was down there, I was like kind of looking around and I saw like a grid. And then you were like, and now you'll see the grid. And I'm like, God, I already saw it. So that was really
That's
cool.
cool.
Like
That is
everything.
cool. That is
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Um, so that was neat. And
That's our
then,
coherence too. That's our coherence, and that's what I'm being told. And it was so fascinating because for this would be the first time I ever experienced something like this in the way that as Thoth brought it through, and I knew it was coming out of my mouth, of course, and I was speaking it, but I was experiencing it. So it was not I don't know if this will make sense, but um, doing guided meditations before and having other energies come through, this was more embodied. This was different.
yeah,
It was not like a trance channel, not like that, but
yeah,
it was a transmission of voice, and I was in it, experiencing it for myself as well.
yes, yeah. And then just the energy afterwards with everyone. Everybody's energy was completely different after the meditation. We were all
Yeah.
like zonked. Like
Yeah.
it was completely, I
Yeah.
don't know.
It was putting
Yeah.
everybody to bed.
No, I wasn't tired. I
I
really wasn't
was
tired. But it
not
was,
tired like that, not like exhausted tired,
yeah.
just
Like after
calm.
you get,
Very,
yes, like after you get a massage where like they're like,
yeah,
how was it?
yes,
Like, it was great.
yes,
Like,
yeah, yes, yes. Very peaceful, very peaceful.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And I'm like
very much.
literally invasion of the spiders right now. They are like climbing in. I have my window open. Oh, and they're all like climbing in my office right now.
They're
A
like,
little
"What are
nervous.
you doing? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
So did you have any
Oh,
dreams? Did you have any?
okay. So then I went to bed and I put my hand on my heart and on my stomach and I was just trying to like manifest the life that I want and um all the things and I kept seeing all these like I know you talked about our council and so I was like okay you guys must be from our council. I saw at least five different people that I've never seen
Mm-hmm,
before that
mm-hmm,
were like not of this time
mm-hmm,
period. Like they
mm-hmm,
were like ancient.
mm-hmm,
Um, and they were all like there was women, there was men, there was like everybody. And so I saw all of them and I was like very like I would thank them and I was very happy to see them and like I was like,
mm-hmm,
wow, you guys must be
mm-hmm,
part of my council. This is really
mm-hmm,
cool. And
mm-hmm.
then I did have a weird dream, and I honestly cannot remember it right now. But I remember thinking, "Oh, I think this is connected."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I woke up.
Whether any, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and then I woke up, and I had this like zinging kind of energy, and
Mm-hmm,
it wasn't like anxious energy zinging. It was
mm-hmm,
like a really like I don't know present energy, and I got so much work. I was like, okay, I feel like I need to take the day off to let everything just
yeah, it's a good idea.
attune, align, settle in, shift. And I did yoga and I drank my lemon water and I'm still drinking it. And and then I like just did chores, just did work around the house. But I was like,
Yeah,
oh, don't forget that. And I gotta go there. And I'm like,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
very I just had all this like
But
inner like
it was
mental
movement though, right?
exertion
It wasn't
and
like pushing.
energy. It wasn't pushing. No,
Yeah.
it was like smooth and yeah, so much energy. So cannot speak highly and I can't wait to see the changes and how it's going to affect my life. So
Yeah. There's this, and so I channeled a bit of information just to for us, for you, for everyone that took the class last night and anyone listening as well to kind of help tie this all together because this is happening to everyone. Um but the energy will affect each and every individual in whatever way, wherever, because there's not a better or worse or anything. It's a movement of energy that you're ready for. And what they said to me was last night was actually a soft transition. So it was a soft one. And I was like, well, if that was soft, that was soft. Wow. But they said that to be able to integrate the energy and to do it too much, it would be a little bit hard for the system.
Yeah.
And we know that from healing work and doing healing work. And as we go through the process of releasing and all these things that happen within our body, jumping from one state to another, we just don't do that. And that can be very disruptive to our mind and all kinds of things. So there's a reason why it happens in the way that it does. But it does affect everyone differently. So whether you have a dream that you can remember or visuals or saw anything, it does not take away from the importance of what's happening, because our conscious mind truly doesn't need to understand. We love to, and it's fun and it's exciting to have an understanding. And that's part of our soul as well, because we're here to be in joy and to have fun. It's human first, right? Human first, human life first. It's not bypassing, it's not spiritual fantasy and disengaging from our physical life and being in la la land so that we're forgetting about the troubles, or we're forgetting about, the things that are important to us here in life. What it is it is embodying parts of us that come from higher dimensional spaces to allow us to live in a more present, embodied, peaceful, joyful way. And it is always human first. It's human life first. It's our families. It's what is important to us. It's our heart first. So it was interesting, Maren, because in what we have discovered about our own lifetimes together and where we're at right now, what I was told is what we are here sharing is spirit, the crossroads of spirit, science, and embodiment. And doesn't that make sense? Because that's where we
Yeah.
love to roll.
That's what I love to talk about. Yeah, is like how this energy can be proven through science, and then
Yes.
living it and sharing our personal stories and
Yes.
working hard to make my life, better
Well,
and
and I
using
mean,
all of it.
I think about the beginning of my awakening, even prior to it, like being a kid with my books about haunted homes and superstitions and all of these kind of things. My deep desire, or the feeling that I always had, was okay, I know this is real, like with paranormal. I know this is real. I know that this is happening, but I need the science. I need to get in there and understand, how does this energy work? What does it do? How does it react? What is
Yeah.
actually going on? And so running through this whole journey of spirituality and connecting with spirits and understanding what's really happening, understanding really what's happening when there are, um, you know, hauntings or these things that are happening. What is that really? What is
Yeah.
it? And like we talked about that emotional energy. And
Yeah.
so there's been so much that I've learned on this journey, and it's all kind of coming together, full circle. That's what's happening. So I love that we're doing this. And so what was channeled this morning? So they gave me, I've got a couple pages, so I'll just run down the bullet
Okay.
points here. So this is not woo woo escape, and it's not cold lab coats.
This is what
This
you
is
channeled,
real.
or this is what
Yes.
you're
Yes.
summarizing your feeling? Okay.
No, so
Okay.
yeah, it's
Okay.
what we're doing is not woo woo escape. It's also not cold lab coats, but it's real weaving of truth is what we're doing.
Oh, I like that.
So this is what happened to you. And so anyone listening that was in the class last night, um, pick and choose what feels right to you, because some of this is for you as well. Really, it all is, but some things are going to feel more coherent than others. But so, Maren, your personal field became a coherent enough to detect energies operating on light frequencies. So what was taking place last night was heart field expansion, and it's the nervous system. So the range of the nervous system, it's going beyond what physicality is. So what's taking place today and the importance of drinking the water is that your physical body and the physical awareness is catching up. It's catching up. And this happens much faster than it used to. If this were happening 10 years ago, it would be a slower process. But because this is happening now in a different platform of universal energy with quantum energy, it's happening quicker. Okay.
Right.
So the nervous system range is past normal electromagnetic output. Your pineal gland, so this is what you saw, okay? So what was taken care of last night, your headache, okay? So feeling that tension. I don't know if you remember when we were talking, I was saying there's headaches. There was more than one of us, but I was really getting it.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the corresponding light-sensitive cells flickering awake and briefly registering non-visible light frequencies. So what that means is because we are all connected to ourselves and we exist on multiple frequencies, right? So if you can imagine all of the frequencies, imagine there's lines connected to everything and anything. And when there is an activation that is expanding in the pineal area, it's like bells ringing off to, we'll say, councils, we'll say to beings of light that are in these frequencies that are answering the phone and going, she's awake. She's awake. Hello, she's awake.
So
All
I wonder
right,
if
let's
that's
jump in and
all the
wave.
people are there. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what was happening. And this is not because integration, so you may have these experiences and then kind of feel like, all right, now I'm just kind of in day to day, like, okay, what's going on? Because it'll awaken like that. So if you think about your first awakening, it'll awaken
Mm-hmm.
like that in energy, and then we'll kind of feel like it's balancing out because it has to always reground itself, and then it will expand again and you'll experience. So think of it always as contractions, just like having a baby. Think of it just like that,
Yeah.
like having a baby. Thank God I'm not doing that again. My God. So in simple terms, what they said to me is simply to understand the body sensors picked up what your soul has always known what's there. Electromagnetic and biophotonic system of the human body. So scientifically, that's what's happening.
Liz, that is, if I had to give what I feel a name, that would be it. Say that again.
Okay.
Bio.
Biophotonic system of the human body. Electromagnetic and biophotonic system of the human body. And just
So
because they tell me these things doesn't mean I understand it all. I have
so
to figure it
I
out
feel
too.
like I tell you that I like get those little like pulses from spirits, like right, like
Yeah.
they poke on me.
Yeah.
And if you've ever had electrostim therapy
Mm-hmm.
where they like
Mm-hmm.
push
Mm-hmm.
your pulse, you know, that's what it
Yes.
feels like.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's like gotta be in my electric field somewhere, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Electromagnetic, biophotonic. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was like so much faster. It was like I would think of either a spirit or about
Yeah.
spirituality or
Yes.
about some, and then it was like boom, I would feel
Yes.
a pulse. Like
Yes.
where before it'd be like I'd think it may or may not happen. It's like, but if
Yes.
it happens to me, then I'll start thinking about them, you know? But this
Yes.
time it was like if
Yes.
I thought about them, boom, it came right in.
Yes. And that's
So,
embodiment. That's embodiment. So
okay.
you could also say it like our higher self. So the higher frequencies are integrating and embodying with our physical self. And so that awareness, and you've built a foundation for it, right? Like that's what you've been doing is building the foundation, because these things don't just happen because, oh, we're lucky we flipped this switch, or we just came across doing something. It's part of a soul schedule. Like
Yeah.
it's within us. So the preparation all this time, and that's why there's never any pushing. Why there's nothing to ever worry about. You just organically allow things to unfold,
Yes. Yes.
right? Because this is like a convergence, a crossroads. So what's happened is the lines that are connected to the higher frequencies, they lit up because you met a station, you met a crossroads on your field of awareness. So it's interesting. So it's synchronizing with expanded dimensions. And my guide said, science says microtubules in cells vibrating. So we don't have to untangle that one a little bit. They also said a word called the piezoelectric effect. Crystals
Piezo?
in piezo, like Piezoelectric effect. Crystals inside the pineal gland convert mechanical pressure into electrical signals. So these are the things that are scientifically happening in the body through these experiences.
That's what happens in the cochlea.
Okay.
Um, the oh, just don't take me back to grad school here. No, but that's what happens is it uses every form of energy. But in the cochlea,
Yeah.
so it's like you have your ear, so it's like the waves hit the eardrum, and then the eardrum is mechanical. So it's like
Mm.
whatever wave energy is, and then the eardrum hits the ossicles, and that's mechanical energy, and then it hits the cochlea, and
Mm-hmm.
it just pushes the middle ear fluid into the cochlea,
Mm-hmm.
which would be like I think hydraulic energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the
Mm-hmm.
water, and then it finds its perfect based on the size of the wave, its perfect spot in the cochlea, which stimulates the um, something which turns it into electrical energy, which is how like your brain and your cells pick up the sounds.
Isn't that fascinating?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that fascinating? I find it so helpful to have these different components to be able to explain exactly what's happening, because for me it's important. It's always been important to help embody. I know it is for you too, to piece that together,
Mm-hmm.
because because some of what we get is pretty out there,
Yeah.
you know. Which brings me to the next point, quantum entanglement. So, where non local beings and fields are felt in real time without linear communication. Meaning we're
I
not.
just read the definition of quantum entanglement today,
Did you?
this week,
Well, there you
and
go.
that is
That's what's
actually
happening.
like pretty close. I was like, what is quantum entanglement? And it's
Yeah.
where you can know the state of one object, like there's two objects, you can know the state of
Yeah.
one object by looking at the other object. So
Yes.
you don't perceive this one, and that's kind of like exactly what you just said.
Yes. Yes. So basically, this is opening the spirit speaking. It's higher vision opening, veil thinning, because they said that the veil is each of us.
What does that mean?
So, well, the way I had always perceived the veil, so when we were told the veil
Yeah,
between worlds,
yeah,
I'd always seen it as like one big thing, almost like a casted net that we all have. Are you seeing orbs all over the place?
yeah. There is just
Yeah.
more of a
There's a
really
lot.
big,
You can feel the energy, right? You can feel it
yeah.
around here. But the way they described it to me is that the veil is around us, like we're within it. So the veil is, it's everybody. It's our, so that's why, like, a veil is thinning. It's the veil between what our higher soul, because everything that we're experiencing is a reflection of us.
Okay, that makes
So
sense.
as we become more embodied, we're able to pick up on more of our own reflection. And let me tell you, I know that it will naturally unfold organically over the next while, but I've been blown away at some of the things that have been shared as to what exactly that means. And I want to make sure that we let that naturally just spill out, because we want to, we want to honor how it comes out. But the other thing is it's our soul circuits. Basically, it's our soul circuits reconnecting to source.
Okay.
That's the bottom line, to the source of
Okay.
everything.
Okay.
That's what's
That makes
happening.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Just
sense
just
because that's
that. Just that. That's all. Just that. Just just a regular day in my hoodie. No
that's
big
some
deal.
that must be some pretty powerful tea because those are some big words for you to be able to hear and interpret and
Well,
pin down
let me
there.
let me tell you. Let me tell you. It's it's embodiment of higher energy.
Yeah.
So, if you
Is that why I have energy, like more energy? Because like I'm like
because
tapped
you're
in
not,
force energy.
yes. Yes. You're not, remember
Oh,
what we said last night
thinning of
when
the
I said
veil.
to
Yeah.
Israel,
Okay, which
welcome
just
to the
means
new
oh, sorry.
world. Welcome to the new world.
Okay.
It's not something that you need to push. It's not something that you need to achieve or grab to. You are. You're not holding on to a line, you are the line. So the difference between embodiment and the way that channeling and the way that we were doing it previously is that there was more of a mental push. So
Yeah.
more of a obtaining the connection to pass through. And what I've learned over many years of working with healing and whatnot is it's like a slow roll of, and I've talked about this before, it's the channeling doesn't just stop with the person that we're working with, that the working with what I teach is how I live too, because that's what was helping me be able to heal and work through a lot of things that I've experienced. So it's it's like I don't just turn it on and say whatever during a session, or that is how I feel, that is what I'm going
Hmm.
through. And the difference is that there's not that like feeling of centering myself to connect the line. The line
Okay.
is flowing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what's happening to you. So that's why you feel that energy. And also, the water and everything in what you're experiencing is the grounding of that energy, because this is not a temporary thing. It's
Okay.
here.
Staying.
It's staying. And so before we wrap up, I do want to say one thing to everybody to announce, because this is a pretty big deal for me, and it's something that I'm very excited about. So my website is going through some changes, and I have somebody amazing and beautiful that I know she's listening that is going to work on my website with me and make those adjustments for me. So of course I'm still doing sessions and all of that. That's not changing. Some of my pricing is changing. Some of how I'm packaging is changing. Um, what I have right now that which I this is if you feel called to it. This is not a I'm not a sales pitchy kind of gal. This is just if this feels right in your body and it's something you want to do. This is the blueprint. So if you go on the website right now, it's all still as it's been right now. May 6th is the launch date for the everything new. So any bookings that you make, any sessions, anything, the original price and sessions are all honored if it's booked on before May 6th. Anything May 6th and forward is on the new platform. So I recommend the blueprint. It's on introductory price right now, and Maren had it done, and a lot of people in our class last night had it done as well.
Yeah,
It
can I speak
is,
on that
yeah,
really quickly?
sure,
Um,
yeah.
I felt like it was spot on with things that you like pulled out from my blueprint that are super relevant in my life and being able to understand the connection has given me a new perspective with how to
Mm-hmm.
handle those different situations. So I just can't believe it was how spot on it was. So I told my husband about it and he was like, that tracks.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
um, so
Yeah, it's
definitely,
very helpful. It's very
yeah.
helpful, and that's really the purpose of it. But it is just to give a rundown of what it is. It is and I had people putting in their birth dates. You don't have to do that. It's not necessary. What it is it's going into your field, going into your blueprint, your soul blueprint, and if you have certain relationships, if there's an area of focus that you wanted to look at, otherwise I would just go in with whatever your higher self is bringing forward as important for this time. It brings forward anything that may be blocking you, any understanding of relationships, if there's something there that is coming through from other dimensional spaces, other lifetimes. You may start to wonder, what is my connection to this? And why is this happening in my life? Why am I experiencing these health issues and I can't seem to get them under control? It's all of those things. Now, the blueprint is all in written form. If it is beneficial and they give a sigil or any kind of visual piece for you to have for integration, because it's not only a blueprint, it is an activation as well. So it's multidimensional. And so this is what you will see shifting over, is you're going to see more of the description of actually what it's doing and start to explain some of what's happening in your body and things that you can expect to change and shift through. And it's life changing. It really is. If you feel called to it and you're ready, and if you do feel called to it, then it's for you. If you don't, well, it's not time, and that's just fine. But so check that out. And like I said, May 6th, that's the changing day, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm excited to keep flying in the next chapter with you, Maren. And it's good stuff is happening.
That's right. I'm very excited for you. Thank you all so much for listening. And it was so fun to see everyone last night.
It was. It
So,
was great.
yeah,
It was really great. Yeah. All right. Well, on that note,
on
you
that
enjoy
note,
your day. You enjoy
thank
your day. I'll
you.
enjoy mine. I hope everybody enjoys their day. Sit in that peaceful energy. Sit in joy. Sit in love. Be
Mhm.
yourself. Don't be anybody else. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. All right. I'm going to ring the bell. See you next time.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.